This is Steve Beeson with American Ironworks. Today we're going to do a training course on the proper way to install and inspect the Red Iron Sling system. We build the Red Iron Slings in 3 different strengths. Each strength is designed for your 2-inch, your 3-inch, and your 4-inch 1502 piping. If you'll notice, the red is our light duty, the blue is going to be the medium duty, and the orange will be the heavy duty. The red is designed for 2-inch piping, the blue is going to be designed for the 3-inch, and your orange is going to be designed for the 4-inch. Each sling is tagged with the proper piping size and the maximum PSI rating. In the late 90s, Shell developed a formula to show the type of loads that would be put on the restraints during a high pressure failure, a pipe burst. If you'll notice, the yellow line right here illustrates the 2-inch 1502 piping, and they're saying at 15,000 psi that the 2-inch 1502 can put 62,000 pounds of load on the restraint. The turquoise line represents the 3-inch. It shows to create about 124,000 pounds of load on the restraint during a failure, and then the 4-inch gets up in the 200,000 range. These are the individual tags. This here is the tags for our light duty red. Here are the tags for the blue and the tags for our heavy duty orange. If you'll notice, each tag has your pipe size right here along with the PSI rating. We also come down in this area and stamp a hole in the, for instance, today would be the second quarter of 2016. We actually punch a hole in this area here. That way, if the serial number ever rubs off, you'll still be able to tell when the sling was last inspected. Here's our medium duty blues. If you'll notice, the medium duty blues, they will secure the 2-inch piping up to 20,000 psi, your 3-inch to 15, and your 4-inch to 10, and so forth on your orange. This is a piping failure that happened down in Texas. Nobody was hurt, but it wiped the gravel off the location. You can see that we had a failure in the Chickson area here. There were no restraints on this at the time. When we're installing the Red Iron Sling, this is a flowback application over in Pennsylvania. What we'll want to do is we start at the wellhead, and when you loop the sling through itself right here, you'll cinch it up, and then we want to run the sling along the piping. We do not want to leave any individual joints unsecured, so we've created a half hitch right here on this 24-inch piece, another hitch here, and a hitch here. We want to create a hitch on each side of these hammer unions and do not leave any joints unsecured. If you get to a manifold area, like this area here, if the piping is bolted down, you do not have to secure it, but we recommend going ahead and running it. If this piping was to come in this side of the skid and then go out this side, we would recommend just running the sling straight on across. Instead of stopping it and starting it, it's usually better just to go ahead and run it directly on across to the opposite side. If you come to a Chickson area, we would like to catch a hitch on each. This is a double Chickson here. It has 2 necks on it, a neck down here and then a neck up here. We would like to catch a hitch on each of these necks. We want to secure that Chickson 100%. When you're joining the slings together, you can use this method here to where you loop them in and you create a square knot, or you can shackle them together. This is your square knot here. This is how we shackle them together. This is a flowback location over in Pennsylvania. You can see where we've used the red slings on the 2-inch piping here, and we've used the blue slings on the 3-inch 1502 here. You'll notice we've created a half hitch on this side of the hammer union. We put a hitch right here on the swivel on the 90. Another hitch here and another hitch here. If your piping is over 10 feet long, we want to catch a hitch in the center. If it's under 3 feet, you can put one hitch in the center. If it's a 4-footer, we like to go ahead and catch one on each end like this one here. So again, if you're over 10 feet, we want to catch a hitch not only next to the hammer unions, but one in the center also. This is a frac job for Trican in Oklahoma. Some companies want you to secure from the pump truck over to the missile and then from the missile to the wellhead. This particular job, they only wanted it secured from the missile over to the wellhead. When you start the system, you want to make sure that you're anchoring to a portion of the missile that is substantial enough to hold the load of the restraint. That's the same strength. So there was a lot of areas on this right here to where we could loop it around and then start the system going along the piping. You'll notice how we start right here. We'll catch a hitch on every swivel, and we come along and we catch a hitch on each side of every hammer union and run it along. Something that's very important, especially on frac jobs, is to keep that piping up off the ground. If you'll notice, they have some timbers in this area here to keep that piping up. If that piping is in the gravel and it's pulsating from those pumps, it will rub a hole in the slings, and then the slings will have to be discarded. So very important when you go out to have some timbers with you to keep that piping up out of the gravel to protect the system. The only time there would be an exception on that is, like for instance, in this area right here where we have a swivel on the ground. If it's going to damage the sling, you can skip over it. This one, they probably could have caught one on the top side here, but if it is down in the gravel or in the dirt and it has a chance of damaging the sling, you can skip that. Again, it looks like they probably could have caught it on the top here and stayed out of the gravel, but if you'll notice on this bypass here, that's 2-inch iron. That's why they put the red slings on that. If the iron is 2-inch, you can use the light duty red. This piping here is actually a 4-inch 1002. And our medium duty blues are rated for 10,000 PSI on the 4-inch. So the blues are very popular on the fracking. They will take the 2-inch to 20,000. They'll take the 3-inch to 15,000. And they take the 4-inch to 10,000. So in the Odessa area and some places up in Oklahoma, they use the 4-inch 1002, and the blues work great for that. If you're using a 4-inch 1502, we have to go with the heavy-duty orange. When you're terminating the system, again, we're going to come along the piping here. We're going to half hitch on each side of the hammer unions. When you get to the wellhead, you can simply loop the sling around the wellhead and come back in and shackle back into your sling. If you have excess sling, it doesn't hurt anything to wrap it around twice. This is about the amount of slack we want in it. You do not have to pull on it with a very tight. The sling is not going to help the piping stay together. It's simply there to prevent the piping from whipping once a failure occurs. So we don't want it looping way down like this, because however much slack is in that sling is how far the piping is going to move if there is a failure. This is about what you want right here. And again, when you get to your wellhead, if you have excess sling, wrap it around once or twice, and then come back and shackle into the sling that you're starting from.
Do that half-inch, right? Just go just like you're doing right here. Go ahead and pull that knot on through to where it chokes it back this way, about like this right here. There you go. That way you got a nice clean deal. Go around your neck right here. Go around your neck right here if you would. Yep. About Well, about 12 inches or so, about right here. We need another one. We need one on each side of every hammer union, gentlemen. You can go ahead and half hitch one on there too with the joint. You'll have enough room to... That way where your slack's out of it.
During inspection, during every install, we want to perform an inspection on the sling. What we want to look for, we want to make sure that the tag is legible, has the proper serial number on it, has the date of the last inspection, and you want to look for tears like the one in the picture here. The Red Iron Sling has a double jacket on the outside. You can have a tear in the outer portion, but you cannot have a tear that shows the internal yarn. So again, if you see a rip in it to where you can tell that the internal yarn has been damaged, we need to take the sling out of service. If the tag is missing or not legible, we want to remove it from service. Look for abrasion marks where you can tell that the sling has been under a load. This is a sling here that we actually launched in our test cage at 15,000 psi, and you can tell that it created a friction mark on it. It'll always kind of leave a hot mark on that outer webbing. Recommended procedures for annual recertification of flow line safety restraints. This procedure covers the annual recertification of the Red Iron Sling piping restraint. Responsibility for the inspection of the Red Iron Sling lies solely on the end user. The function of the annual recertification is to ensure that all components are in good working condition. Procedure: visual examination. The Red Iron Sling has been designed and manufactured so that a visual inspection should be sufficient to determine if the sling is an allowable working condition. The Red Iron Sling outer cover is designed to rip or tear before the internal yarn is damaged. Problems with the sling can usually be found with a visual inspection. We also recommend an annual recertification. This is documentation that is just one step above your daily inspection. We can supply you with this inspection sheet, and what we want to do, we want to come in and put the manufacturer of the sling in this area here. These particular slings, there were some Weir slings in this, and then also Red Iron slings, but you want to put the manufacturer of the restraint here. You want to put your serial number, the length of the sling, and it's either going to be okay or it's going to be scrap. We do not re-web these. So if you find a problem with the sling, the tag is missing or not legible, we can supply you with waterproof inks to where you can reapply the serial number. If it's faded, we would need to identify the actual serial number, and then also we want to punch new holes in the tags. I'll show you those here in just a moment. So it is important to do a yearly inspection on these slings also. I think that completes this course. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can give us a call at this number right here. Have a great, safe, blessed day. Thank you.